Good morning, everyone. My name is Tammy Sadler-Jones. I'm the City Administrator, and I'd like to call to order the License and Variance Board meeting for Wednesday, December 13th, 2017. Board members present, to my left is Roy Akery, the Fire Chief, and to his left is Scott Stokes, the Director of Public Works. Terry Graham is our City Clerk, and she will be taking the official meeting minutes. First item is a public hearing, variance request V17056, allowed duplex on one lot to be converted to two fee simple lots, 0.294 acres, land lot 420, 2139, and 2141, Valley Oaks Drive, Q Gubin. Okay, can you step to the podium, please?
I'm her husband, Tony. This is my wife.
Okay.
She goes by Sarah.
Sarah.
Most of the time.
Okay, all right.
It's Gueben Chu.
Okay.
Is the pronunciation.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you tell us about your variance request, please?
Yes, ma'am. My wife purchased this property out of foreclosure, and at the time it was, it had been completely gutted. Anything of value had been taken from it, and so I assisted her. We did a complete rebuild of the property. Originally, we intended to maybe lease the property, but in the end, we decided that it would be better to sell the property. And I think it's in the best interest of the city to do it this way, because in this way you encourage home ownership instead of an investor property that would be leased. Mm-hmm. Because the only other option is to keep it as an investment property and lease it. So we went through the proper channels and submitted our request to have the property split to two deeds, so that you can, and we already have, the properties are already under contract, and we have some eager potential homeowners that are waiting to close on the property, and so you have two new homeowners instead of two new tenants, and which should benefit the city and is in line with the spirit of the city's zoning code.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
I just have one. Being familiar with the area, when you submit to community development the plat for recording, go back to your surveyor and have him draw the line where the flood area is on this property. I know he noted that it is in a flood area, but I need him to draw the line where it affects the property in particular, and then submit your plat for approval so you can record it.
All right. I think we can consult with the surveyor. They should have that information.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exact how, where the flood line would be drawn on that property, but we'll see if we can ascertain that and include that in the package.
All right, thanks.
That's feasible with community development. Yes. All right.
All right.
Does that mean that we'll need to come back for a final approval, or can that just be?
No, just if you get approval today, once you submit your plat to community development for sign off and approval, submit a plat that shows that line.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
At this time, we'll have comments by our staff. Joey Stobbs, and so you can have a seat, please.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Joey Stobbs, Planner 2 with Community Development. Subject property is a single lot with a duplex on the lot. So, as they mentioned, they are looking to separate the two units into two fee simple properties, which is the way most of our townhomes are done these days, where the townhome owner owns their little section of land with it. A similar property in 2000 was approved by council for the same variance. I think they're directly across Valley Oaks Drive from this property. So there is a history of this happening. They're not changing the use of the property. They are just separating down the line of where the firewall is in the middle of the two units. We have not heard any complaints from surrounding properties. We recommended approval with just one condition, that the approval of the requested variance applies to the property in its current configuration. Should the property be demolished and or rebuilt in whole, subject property shall comply with current codes and ordinances as required in Article 11, non-conforming uses.
Any questions for the staff? And for the applicant, do you accept the one condition as stated?
Yes, ma'am.
Speak it to the mic so we can get you on the mic.
Yes, ma'am, we accept the condition.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V 17-056, allow duplex on one lot to be 94 acres, land lot 420, addresses of 2139 and 2141 Valley Oaks Drive, with the condition that was read into the record by staff.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V17056. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Next item is a public 57, allow increase in accessory structure size from 25% of primary structure to 27.5%, 0.24 acres, land lot 375, 660 Burbank Circle. Keith Nelson is the applicant. Is Mr. Nelson here?
I can try and call them, or unless we just want to table it till January.
Why don't you try to call him, and then if he's not here by the time we finish the next two, we'll table it until January.
All right.
Madam Chair, for the record, I'll make a motion to move item 3B to the end of the agenda.
Okay. Until the end of the agenda. All in favor? Okay. All right, motion passes unanimously. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V1 of 11,000 pound commercial vehicle on residential property, 0.59 acres, land lot 554, 3624 Lee Street. Rob Wagner is the applicant. Can you step to the podium, please? Good morning, and for the record, can you state your name and tell us about your variance request, please?
Rob Wagner. Okay. The variance request is to park my work truck, which is a Isuzu NPR box truck, on our property, being parked behind the house in the gate.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
Mr. Wagner, in the application you submitted, you noted the 11,000-pound commercial vehicle. Is that what's known as the GVRW? Did
Yes,
you
sir.
ascertain that off of some ID tag on the vehicle
Yes,
itself?
sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's what it's loaded, right? Isn't that rated out
Yeah,
loaded?
well,
That's
yeah,
not the empty
that's-
weight.
Well, it's the,
It's the
right,
GB, yeah.
right.
the
And I
gross
think that
vehicle weight.
I'm going to have some questions. Vehicle from the manufacturer that does play into effect within the ordinance. So there are GVRWs that are allowed by ordinance, and there's a GVRW limit that's within the ordinance. And it's not the actual weight of the vehicle on any given day, it's what's the number that's on the tag, you know, from the way I understand it. So-
Right.
Do you have any other statements in regards to your variance request?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. This time we'll have our staff make comments. Joey Stobbs.
Okay.
Applicants requesting to allow a parking of a commercial vehicle weighing approximately 11,000 pounds on residential property. The zoning, well, the city's ordinances, section 80-3 prohibits parking of commercial vehicles above 10,000 pounds in residential areas. This was previously amended in 2005 from 6,000 pounds to 10,000. So I don't know what the reasoning was at that time for increasing it to those numbers, but it was, it's just a basic white box truck that they're wanting to park on their property. But given the restrictions of the code and no history of any other variances approved of this nature, I mean, we're certainly sympathetic to the property owners wanting to keep it there, but the code just doesn't provide any basis to do that. So we recommend a denial of the requested variance.
Questions for the staff?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned the commercial vehicle, so what makes it a commercial vehicle?
I think it's the weight.
So Joey, you mentioned in your statement that the ordinance, I believe you said 2005, was amended by council, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
And when we talk about weights, you know, nobody's weighed on a scale a vehicle. You know, it's all by the rated capacity of the vehicle, as to my understanding. So just so I can make sure that I'm clear on this, 2005, the council voted and approved to raise that maximum weight GVRW from 5,000 to 10,000
Yes, sir.
for commercial vehicles on residential property.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion to deny variance request 5-8 to allow parking of an 11,000-pound commercial vehicle on residential property.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we deny variance request V17058. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Mr. Wagner, you can appeal this board's decision to the mayor and council. You have 10 business days to do so in writing. You can submit that appeal to our city clerk, Terry Graham, and she can put you on an upcoming agenda if you so desire to do so. Okay.
Do that once this is over, right, with her today?
Yes. Yep. Next item is a public 59, allow side setback reduction from 10 feet to 0 feet for a carport addition on an existing single-family residence, 0.4 acres, land lot 5. Mr. Harrison, can you step to the podium? And for the record, can you state your name and tell us about your variance request?
Sure. Good morning, Robert Harrison. We are working on a house at 1450 Walker Court. We are proposing to build a two-car carport over an existing driveway. The existing driveway goes up to about a foot away from the property line, so it actually wouldn't be 0 feet, but approximately between 1 foot, somewhere in there. We're going to build it to mimic the existing style of the house. It's going to have a gable roof with siding on the end of it, decorative columns to support it. And this is just to bring the house up to the current standards of the neighborhood. A lot of these houses were bungalow-style houses built in the 40s and early 50s. And now just to bring it up to the standards, all the houses around it have actual garages, but we think a good compromise just to build a covered carport for, anytime we have a good snow day or a blizzard coming up.
We don't have those here.
No, rarely. And 3 houses down, I had to extricate my neighbor's car from her collapsed carport because it was a flat roof, the metal carports like they used to build. So it'll have a nice pitched roof to shed all the many feet of snow that we get every year these days.
So, Mr. Harrison, just for the sake of clarity, I know that you'd mentioned that it's a pitched roof and not like a gabled roof, I think you said.
I said, yeah, gabled roof. It'll have a pitch so it sheds
Right.
the snow.
So, but I'm assuming with the verbiage carport, you're talking about something that just has the structure just has a roof, and does it have any walls as well? It's just
No,
open
it does not have
walls?
any walls on it. It'd be open. We're trying to make it less obtrusive because it does go so close to the property line. It comes up, luckily, it does encroach to this back portion of the neighboring property. Johnny, the gentleman next door, we've got full approval from him, but still, we didn't want to make it too obtrusive, even though it abuts to the back of his property.
And you mentioned that it was going to be built over an existing driveway. Do you anticipate having to add to the width of the existing driveway to accommodate?
No, the existing driveway stays the same. What we generally do is we cut a square out of the driveway and pour new footings so that we follow all current building codes. We don't build it on top of the existing driveway because we don't know how structurally sound the driveway is, and so we start from scratch. So we'll actually just excavate about a 2 foot by 2 foot section of the driveway and re-pour that, but we're not going to add to the existing footprint of the driveway.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? At this time, we'll have our staff make comments. Joey Stobbs, please.
Mr. Harrison's pretty much covered it. Applicant's requesting a variance for side setback reduction from 10 feet to 0 feet for a carport addition on an existing single-family residence. The existing driveway is basically right up to the property line on the side of the house. And that's where naturally a carport would normally be placed, but since the house is so far shifted to that right side, and then it's like in the front right corner of the lot, shifted over, it's not centered. There's no ability to place that carport anywhere else on the property. The applicant is doing other renovations to this property to enhance the appeal of it, and this was just part of that overall remodel project. We have not heard any complaints from the surrounding property owners, and we've recommended approval with 2 conditions. One, that requested variance shall be conditioned upon substantial compliance with the site plan submitted. 2, downspouts and gutters shall be installed to divert stormwater away from adjacent properties.
Any questions for the staff? Mr. Harrison, do you accept the 2 conditions as stated? Come to the mic.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V17-0 feet for a carport addition on an existing single-family residence, 0.40 acres, land lot 560, located at 1450 Walker Court, for Robert Harrison, the applicant.
And also make a motion that all the stipulations as read into the record by staff apply. Second motion.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V17059. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item is License and Variance Board meeting minutes. Is the applicant for item B? Okay.
We can go ahead and approve the minutes, can we?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Madam Chair, motion to approve the meeting minutes for November 8, 2017, License Variance Board meeting.
Second.
Motion passes unanimously. Do we have an update on our applicant?
Mr. Nelson did not recognize that he needed to be here for the hearings. He's up in Kennesaw right now.
Okay.
He'd be like 15 minutes away if he were to leave from there right now. I told him I would ask the board if they would hear it without him here, since it's a somewhat simple request. Otherwise, we can just postpone it to January. Either way is fine with us.
Let's entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, seeing that the applicant's not present, I think it, for the sake of the process, I think that it's important that the applicant be present. So having said that, I'm going to motion to table until such time the applicant can be present at a regularly scheduled License and Variance Board meeting. Motion to table.
Can I, if y'all are having the hearing on the 27th, we can move it to that one. But I don't know if
But
we are having it.
date, I mean, and the motion can actually be to table indefinitely. I think that would include, just whenever the applicant
Okay.
can get on the next
Perfect.
available agenda.
Your future date, yeah.
Right, whatever date. So the motion to table indefinitely.
It's been motioned and properly second that we table indefinitely variance request V17057. All in favor, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I'd like to declare this meeting adjourned at